Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Prostormer 9-piece flex head ratcheting combination wrench set. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon. If you use that link, it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So if we look on the back here, it says 72 tooth ratchet, durable polyester wallet for storage. Ratchet wrench sizes are 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2 inch, 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, and 3/4 inches. So let's get this open. Okay, so this came in a wrap. Let's open this up. And here we have the wrenches. So it comes with some eyelets here so you could hang this from something. So let's get one of the wrenches out to look at it. So here we go. So the wrenches are made of chrome vanadium. It says they have a nickel plating finish on them. It has kind of a darker look. Now the branding here looks maybe laser etched or printed or something on there. I'm not real sure. But the sizes are embossed, so they will not wear off. Then on the back side we have the chrome vanadium and also the size there. And it lists the size 4 different places on here, which is nice. So it's easy to see. You don't have to hunt around for the size. So this is a flex head here. So this flex is 180 degrees. Now there are no detents on this. This is a smooth flex. And then we have the ratcheting here. And this is a 72 tooth ratchet. So that's a pretty fine tooth. And then on the other end we have a wrench. So there are 2 ways you can reverse a ratcheting wrench. One is to have a little lever on here, and this doesn't use that option. The other is to flip the wrench over. So there are advantages and disadvantages to each. With the lever you can just flip it to change. In this form you have a slimmer wrench head, so this could get into tighter places. So when I worked in a shop about 25 years ago, these types of wrenches were just coming on the market. Now variations of this have been around for a long time, but they weren't very popular. So these weren't very common, but this is something I could have used. I worked on a lot of cars where there were nuts or bolts that were in hard to reach places. So in a perfect world, no one would need these. When they designed these cars, they would make them so they're easier to service, but that's not the case. You have nuts and bolts that were in just awkward places. So oftentimes you could use a wrench on it, but you couldn't put a socket on it. And using a wrench can be very tedious, going back and forth multiple times. So this combines the advantages of a wrench, the narrowness of it, with that of a socket with the ratcheting. So you can slip this on the nut or bolt and ratchet it loose with very low clearance. And then you add the flex head in there and it makes it even more convenient. So if you have a nut or bolt on a surface, you can flex this a little bit and get some clearance for your hands. So ratcheting wrenches have exploded in popularity over the years, which really doesn't surprise me. So let's take a look at some of the other sizes here. This is the 3/4 here. I like the smoothness of the flex head there. And we have the wrench end. So this has sizes from 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch and 1/8 inch increments. So there are no skips in here. Let's look at the 1/4 inch here. This is the smallest. So this is a good range for working on most things. Like in a car, if you're removing a water pump or alternator or a power steering pump or something, these types of wrenches come in handy for that, or if you're taking off brackets. Now these can also be combined with some other tools. Oftentimes spark plug sockets will have wrench flats on them. So if you have a spark plug that's hard to get out, you could take the 3/4 here, put it on the end of your spark plug socket, and you can loosen that. So you can see the clearance here is better than a ratchet. Even if the ratchet was as slim as this, it would still be sitting on the outside of the socket. This sits over the socket, same here of course. So prior to this type of wrench, you potentially would have to use the open-ended part of your wrench, and that's very slow. So this makes it a lot faster. Plus with that angled head on there, you can turn it for clearance too. Okay, so I'm going to insert some clips here of some examples of where you might use some wrenches like this. Okay, so I have this metal workbench here. And if we look at the assembly of this, we can see it has carriage bolts and nuts on it. So on this nut here, you could put a socket on there. On this one, you could put a socket, but it's at a weird angle here. It would get hit by this carriage bolt. So you'd potentially have to install this in a certain order. But with a ratcheting wrench, we can place this on here and we can tighten this down. So that gives us the clearance. So it can help a lot of times to put your finger on here if you need to kind of keep it straight. So that's a good application for this tool. So here's another situation. This is a surface planer and it's on a cart and there's this bolt here and there's no clearance above it to put a socket. So certainly you can use a wrench here to tighten this down like so. But another way to do it would be to put the ratcheting end on here and then you can ratchet it down. Now this is rotating, I would need to hold the other end. So certainly you could use your open-ended wrench on this, but I think most people would find the ratcheting wrench easier. Okay, so those were some examples. The uses for these are endless. I'm really excited to add this to my tool set. I have a couple single ratcheting style wrenches, but they're not like this. They're actually bicycle tools. But this is my first full set of ratcheting wrenches. I think they're really going to save me a lot of time. I like that it comes with this pouch, so if you don't have a toolbox, you have a better way of storing them. Also, if you want to throw this in the back of the car or your truck, it's nice and compact. I also think a wrench set like this would make a nice gift. So if you know someone that's handy, likes to do some work, maybe doesn't have a ratcheting wrench set, you can never have too many wrench sets. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.